Hey guys, Music Ninja Matt here, and today I'm going to be talking about two DC books. First off, we've got Action Comics Special. I guess this was kind of made to round out the current Action Comics run, because Action Man and Superman, they're both changing over, so there will be a Superman special coming out as well later this month. But this was split into 3 stories. On the first story, we've got Dan Jurgens as the writer, Will Conrad on art, and Will Quintana on colours. We see a stranger breaking into the Fortress of Solitude, and straight away we notice that this intruder is definitely ill, because you can tell by his coughing and phlegming everywhere. And he is essentially able to, with his amazing technology, fool the fortress into thinking that he is Superman. And he says, check what's happening at home. And it brings up, obviously, Lois and John. And he's like, I knew it. Lois Lane's there. And so, Superman is Clark Kent. We just get some really nice dialogue in this, because we see people like Lex when they're talking about Superman and going, but he embraces the man part. He doesn't even embrace the fact that he's super. And there's a really funny line that I liked where Superman comes home and John's like, whoa, you rages. And Superman just goes, well, Batman, he wants to account, for every contingency. We see that Lois Lane is on a plane. That rhymes. Ding. And she's doing business Lois Lane type things, and her plane is actually attacked, and Superman straight away obviously saves the plane because he's Superman, but he suspects Lex Luthor because the missile that is launched at the plane is part LexCorp tech, but it's also Kryptonian, which means it kind of really fucks with Superman and makes him all dizzy. However, when Superman actually visits Lex's vault with his power suit in is on a time lock, and he's like, well, this hasn't been opened in a while, so Lex must have been here. Lois gets targeted again, and it is Lex Luthor, but it's a different Lex Luthor, and he's in a different power suit, and his power suit is actually equipped with weapons that he got from breaking into the Fortress of Solitude. So he's got Kryptonian tech, so he's actually able to hurt Superman when he fights him. Obviously, Superman turns up to save the day and starts fighting with Lex, and then our Lex turns up in his power suit to just be like, what up? What's going on? Superman takes the imposter Lex away and is fighting him, and he's like, well, who are you? Why do you look like Lex? And it is Lex, but it's a much older Lex who is actually dying of cancer. He's from the future, and he said, he was like, no matter what I did, you undermined me. I was never as good as you. And it just drove him crazy, and he wanted to just come back and kill Superman. He actually ends up passing away of a heart attack, and his suit just explodes. And our Lex comes over and is like, who was he? Who was he? And Superman says, it doesn't matter. As far as I'm concerned, he was dead years ago. Now, I didn't know how to read that, because the first time I read it, I thought it was Superman being quite aggressive towards Lex, kind of saying, this is how you're going to turn out. But then I read it again and was like, hang on a second, what he's actually saying is, this Lex Luthor, this evil Lex Luthor that is obsessed with killing me, you're not him anymore. He died years ago, and I'm not concerned that you're going to end up that way. The second story was written by Mark Russell, with art by Jill Thompson, and we have Romulo Fajardo Jr. on colours. We see Lex Luthor on the way to this White House dinner, and we see flashes of just his crappy upbringing, being bullied, and his dad's a dick, and all that classic Lex Luthor sort of stuff. And we get this scene which is really weird to start off with, because it's Lois giving a speech at this White House dinner, and she's like, our president's the biggest murderer ever, ha ha ha. And I'm like, I don't understand. And she keeps making these really sort of dark jokes. And then Clark gets up to make a speech. And she says, look, make fun of people. Because she was like, if they don't laugh, if they cannot laugh at themselves, it makes them look bad. So you can afford to kind of mess with people a little bit. Clark goes up and he gets more comfortable. He starts making fun of the Justice League who are in attendance. He's joking around about Batman, and we can see Batman's not sat at a table, but he's actually hiding in the rafters, which I thought was quite fun. And we find out that Superman has won the Humanitarian Award, which obviously this rubs Lex the wrong way, because he's watching this video of Superman, and he's just like, he's not even human. And he's like, people think humanitarian means you've got to be compassionate. And he's like, that's not it at all. And it doesn't help that Clark had actually mocked Lex in his speech. Part of the video shows Lex Luthor being taken down by Superman so many times, and for really silly reasons sometimes. So people around Lex begin to make fun of him, and we just see him storm out and just say, right, I'm running for president, and you can see he's fed up of people treating him in that way. And Lex's dialogue's really well written here, because it is very intelligent and cunning, and it really suits him, and the writing is done so well. The final story was actually supposed to be like a holiday special that was released a while ago, and it's just being released now. And you've got Max Landis as the writer and Francis Manapul on art. It's just this really cute story where Superman starts off by capturing this guy that's just done a robbery. And Superman's like, did you hurt anybody? He goes, no, I didn't hurt anyone. That's the reason for this jetpack, is that I could get in and out quickly. And Superman's like, well, where the hell did you get the jetpack? And the guy explains that he made it. And Superman's just in shock, because he's like, so you're incredibly intelligent. You built a jetpack, and the first thing you did was a robbery. And Superman goes, right, you're going to go back down, and you're going to get arrested, and I'm going to keep this jetpack and hide it. I will give it back to you at the moment you're out of jail, and you're going to patent it, and you're going to make some proper money, honestly, and using your mind. And the guy's just like, well, thanks, Superman, that's decent of you. During this time, Lois has actually got in a car accident. She's fine, but she is devastated that her car that she's had her whole life has crashed, because she said that it feels like a family member's gone almost. And she said, I just want to be able to drive it one last time. And her and Clark go off to this Christmas getaway party, and she wakes up in the morning, she goes up on the roof, and there's Clark as Superman, and he's got her chair and steering wheel, and obviously he flies her around in the chair, so she gets to have that one last drive. And it's just a really nice, cute story. DC Nation issue 0, and apparently DC Nation is actually going to be like a behind the scenes magazine that DC are going to be doing, that's going to have interviews and let you know all about upcoming events, which is quite a cool idea. But this is split into 3 stories, coincidentally, like Action Comics, and it sets up a big Batman event, a big Superman event, and a big Justice League event. I will just say now, out of the 3 events, Justice League was the only one that really hooked me. The other 2 are great little stories, but there's not enough for me to latch onto to want to rush out and buy the books. So the Batman story is obviously written by Tom King, and we've got Clayman on art and Jordi Belair on colours. And it's Joker at this guy's house, this guy called Roger, and he's turned up and just said, like, my wedding invitation will be here soon. And this Roger guy's like, look, my daughter, she's out at school, and what do you want? He's like, nothing. I'm in a good mood, and I'm just waiting for my wedding invitation. And Roger's like, how do you know it's coming here? Joker just goes, well, it's gotta come somewhere, so you never know, it might be this house. And you can see how on edge Roger is. And Joker says, you don't have to worry. As long as I'm in a good mood, I won't kill you. And he was like, when I'm in a bad mood, I kill people. And, you know, you can see throughout, a lot of it is just their body language. And you see Roger more and more stressed. At one point, he grabs Joker's gun, shoots it, and obviously it's a fake gun that just says bang. The art's done really well. Like, the way Joker looks, his body language, everything is done so well in this. And you can see, like, Joker's just full-on crazy in this one, because he makes such odd remarks and tries telling Roger jokes. And the whole time, it's really breaking this man's psyche down. And finally, the post arrives, and Joker picks up this letter and goes, it's my wedding invitation, I'm going. And he's really excited. And then he shoots Roger, and he goes, well, Roger, you see, the thing is, when I'm happy, I kill people. And as he's walking away, and this letter is covered in blood, we see that the letter's not a wedding invitation, it's a letter to Roger saying, your daughter was late to school again this morning. It just perfectly shows Joker's, like, mental state and how broken he is. I thought it would be more interesting and a bit of a darker ending if the letter had said that his daughter was completely absent from school, implying that maybe Joker already killed her. But the fact that it said she was late implies that she is still alive and she's safe. But then the sad realization kicks in when you realise, like, her father's just led there dead with that letter. And this is all leading into the fact that it's Batman's wedding is coming up. And I'm just not that excited because I don't like Tom King's Batman. It was weird because I really liked his Joker, but his whole Batman run from Rebirth, I read up to, like, issue 30, and I just didn't like it. Next, we've got the Superman story, which of course is written by Brian Michael Bendis, and this is a lead up to his Man of Steel series that's coming out, which I am still not convinced to pick up. We've got Jose Luis Garcia Lopez on art, and that's a hell of a name to try and remember how to say. Alex Sinclair on colours, and Dexter Vines on inks. And we see Perry White as a big character in this. And basically Perry is saying, look, stop coming to me worried about what if Superman did this, what if Superman did that. He said, I don't sell fear to people, I sell the truth, and Superman only does good. Clark arrives and says he has a story because he went and followed these guys who were trying to sell Lex Tech on the black market, and he says, you know, I was following them, I was undercover, and then Superman turned up and made them all confess. So I have a story, I've got their confessions. We also find out that Lois has left the Daily Planet at this point. Her office is free, and there's a bit of tension there, but no one says why she's left. We meet a woman called Robinson Good, who has just been hired at the Daily Planet, and she seems really interested in Clark in as much as she wants to pick his brains and get to know him. And Perry's talking to Clark and he says, like, there's something off about you. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Lois, whatever, but I want my old Clark Kent back because your work was better then. Clark storms up to the roof. We see him fly off, and Robinson Good is not that far behind him. And then we see Good actually talking to some guy in what looks like a nightclub, saying, oh yeah, that paper's a complete mess, but doesn't matter because I'll have bought it in no time at all. We've already introduced the idea of this big monster villain for Superman to fight in the Man of Steel run, but he's also introduced like a villain for Clark Kent to face against, which is really interesting. It's two very different villains with different motives. Finally, we've got the Justice League No Justice Prelude, which is written by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, and Joshua Williamson. We've got George Jimenez on art, and Alejandro Sanchez on colours. So in No Justice, it's 4 issues which are going to focus on 4 teams, and we're basically in this meeting the teams. So we've got Batman's team, which is Team Entropy, which is made up of Beast Boy, Lobo, Deathstroke, obviously Batman himself, and Lex. They appear to be on what's almost like a prison, and they've been sentenced for crimes against the multiverse. And Batman's saying, you know, they ended up breaking the source wall and their universe just got a lot bigger because there's a lot of new threats that can come over and actually attack them now. And while they're in this prison, they're able to fight back, and Batman sort of comments that they're there to break some criminals out, which is interesting. And then he swaps over and we meet Superman's team. Superman's team is Team Mystery and is made up of Superman, Starfire, Martian Manhunter, Sinestro, and Starro. And we find out what they're fighting are these beings called the Omega Titans. And they feed on the 4 cosmic energies sort of the universe. And they are the team names. So Entropy, Wisdom, Mystery, and Wonder. But it becomes clear that these are 4 very different Justice League teams, and they've teamed up with villains to sort of fight a greater evil. We then go over to Wonder Woman's team, which obviously would be called Team Wonder, And Wonder Woman's team is herself, Zatanna, Dr. Fate, Raven, and Etrigan, which is a really cool team, to be honest. And then finally we meet Cyborg's team, and I thought it was interesting that he got his own team, which is Team Wisdom, which is Robin, Atom, The Flash, Harley, and Cyborg. The art throughout, I think, is actually really nice looking, because you've got a lot of different styles of characters and they all blend very well together. And the battle they're actually fighting is on a planet called Kalu, where they're saying the Titans' next stop is Earth. So let's take the fight to them. Let's stop them here before they even get to Earth. And they've left on Earth Green Arrow and Supergirl, and they're like, they'll be fine. And then a Titan turns up at Earth and Supergirl's just there like, oh shit. But yeah, we essentially just sort of meet these teams, understand where everybody is at before the event starts, and I'm actually really excited for it because I like these different teams and I want to see who's going to be on the Justice League, who's it going to be made up of once this event has rounded out. Anyway guys, that's all from me talking about these two books. It was quite a lot to talk about because, as I said, it's 3 stories inside both of them. So you just got 6 stories. You are welcome. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out. If you go into the description below, you'll find my social media links. And I will see you all in the next one.